Founded in 1931, Unidos da Tijuca, opening this year's parade, is one of Rio's 3 oldest samba clubs. Champions only one time, back in 1936, they've specialized in themes about Brazilian pop culture. This time, the club brought to the Samba Parade grounds the story entitled Shola Malechen, the epic of the insubmissive Malays, which focuses on the rebellion by a group of Muslim Negro slaves who came to Brazil between the 17th and 19th centuries. The theme is by the Samba Club's president himself, Luis Carlos Cruz. The vigor of the lyrics sung by Sobrinho, one of the best-known singers for the big Samba Club parades. Unidos da Tijuca, featuring their colors of blue and gold, brought around 2,500 participants to the parade. Apparently, the story which another big samba club from the Carioca neighborhood of Tijuca told at the parade was the most mysterious of 1984 Carnival, 9,215. This, in fact, was the number of the law which abolished the casinos and prohibited gambling in Brazil back in 1946. According to Natal, president of the Império da Tijuca Samba Club, founded in 1946, the club's 2,200 samba dancers wanted to use Carnival as an excuse to praise gambling. They wanted to call governmental attention to the social problems caused back at that time when more than 40,000 persons, including artists, skilled craftsmen, musicians, waiters, and waitresses, were suddenly put out of work. In times of crises and unemployment, according to Natal, it's a good idea to remember that the casinos meant a job market. Featuring their official colors of green and white, the Império da Tijuca, which haven't ever yet won a championship, brought as their feature the veteran master of samba ceremonies, Bagdad, who's previously belonged to the main top Rio Samba clubs. charming and relatively small samba club, noted for the humor of their themes, the Caprichosos de Pilares, parades in blue and white ever since their founding in 1949. This time, their theme told about the visit by the nobility of laughter to King Chico on a not always well-illuminated stage, which honors a Brazilian humorist who's a big hit on television, Chico Anísio, and intermixes its characters with the criticism of Brazil's current political situation. Responsible for the club's rising to the top group in 1982 was mathematics professor Luiz Fernando Reis. To illustrate the club's theme this year on the Samba Parade grounds, dancing along with the 3,500 sambaists of the Caprichosos Pilares are various other well-known humorists of the country, symbolizing the nobility of laughter, who visit their king, Chico Anísio. Located on one of Rio's oldest inhabited hillsides, the Académicos do Salgueiro Samba Club is one of the newest among the top group and celebrated its 30th carnival this year. Formed from the union of three rival samba clubs which had previously divided up the hillside, Salgueiro has won 7 championships from 1960 till now. At the present time, the club's president, the theme's creator, and the stage director for the club's parade are men active in television, Regis Cardoso, Haroldo Costa, and Arlindo Rodrigues. Trying to tell the story of samba ever since its origins in Africa, the more than 2,500 sambaists of Salgueiro enthusiastically sing music and lyrics composed and written by David Correia and Jorge Macedo. trump card, however, was the return of a former music director, Laila, who led the club during its great years. Salgueiro's main high point continues to be the quality of its costumes. Since they went up to the top group in 1975, Union da Ilha, founded in 1953 on the largest island in Guanabara Bay, has become a kind of second favorite in the preference of all samba lovers because of the charm of their themes and due to the levity of their plot lines. Despite the participation of a large number of middle-class folk, the Union da Ilha is a samba club which gives more value to the imagination of its sambas than the richness of the costumes used. Ever champion, the Union da Ilha this year sang an anthology of popular proverbs brought together under the theme, "He who can, does. He who can't can go ... himself." The parade by the Union da Ilha followed the structure of a book. It was opened by an old grandmother type, symbolizing the knowledge of the older generations and the person who transmits the popular wisdom contained in 38 proverbs to the younger generations. The oldest big samba club in Rio is also the one which holds the largest number of championships. Portela, founded in 1923, has been the champion 20 times and is the only club to have boasted a championship 7 times running, winning from 1941 to 1947. Myths of Sand. Its theme this year consists of an homage to 3 of Portela's greatest names during this more than half a century of dedication to samba. Paulo da Portela, one of the club's founders. Natal, nicknamed One Arm, head man of the outlawed but very popular numbers game and its greatest president since the club's founding. And the singer Clara Nunes, an extremely well-loved pop artist who died tragically a year ago. "6,000 sambas from Portela come together in the refrain of the samba by Norival Reis and Dede to celebrate their heartfelt nostalgia for these three symbols of love and life. The club really getting off on the refrain which says, Deu águia, símbolo da sorte, the eagle came up winners, the symbol for luck, a reference to the club's emblem, the eagle, and the numbers game in which the eagle stands for the number 1. Popular artists such as Alcione and Beth Carvalho parade with Portela, which is presided over by Carlinhos Maracanã, the heir of Portela's former president, Natal, both in samba and in the numbers game.
É cheiro de mato, é terra molhada, é clara guerreira, a vez voada. É cheiro de mato, é terra molhada, é clara guerreira, a vez voada. Reparei, reparei, minha santa, reparei, reparei, minha porque ela derrama arte, desfiles sem igual, faz da vida poesia e canta sua alegria. Em tempo de carnaval é Bahia, Bahia é o que canta mais, visão de aquarela, e no agradecer os orixás, orânia. É Paulo na portela, o mundo azul e branco. O Deus negro fez nascer Paulo Benjamin de Oliveira, fez este mundo crescer. O Jorge, vai nossa gente sambar. O que Natal, porque ela é canto no ar. Vai nossa gente sambar, Natal, Portela é canto no ar. Jogo feito, banca forte, qual foi o bicho que deu? O que deu? Deu águia, símbolo da sorte, foi 20 vezes venceu. É cheiro de mato, é terra molhada, é clara guerreira, lá vem trovoada. É cheiro de mato, é terra molhada, é clara guerreira, lá vem trovoada. Reparei, reparei, minha santa, reparei,
Historically, the malandro, or rogue, in Brazil was always the guy who preferred to live, if not outside the law, at least outside usual standards of normality. The theme chosen by the Império Serrano Samba Club, founded in 1947, 9 times champion, tries exactly to demystify this idea, treating several episodes from Brazil's history with humor and irony. The presents undeniable examples of roguishness, but only on the official governmental level. Lyric writer Bicalho meant to say precisely this when he wrote verses such as Pero Vaz, writing quietly, protected his nephew, invented the influence peddler, meaning the clerk in the fleet led by Pedro Alvarez Cabral, who discovered Brazil, was assigned to send news to the King of Portugal concerning the new colony, and perceiving the charms of the land, was able to get the king to send a relative of his who'd been condemned by the Portuguese monarchy. The author of the theme was Fernando Pamplona, and who developed it was Carnival staging director Renato Lage. Founded in the same district as Portela, the Madureira neighborhood, a stronghold for Afro-Brazilian song and dance, the Imperial Serrano Samba Club features music director Mestre Fuleiro, composer Ivone Lara, sambist Dona Aligaria, singer Zezé Mota, and Ivandro Castro Lima, the latter a traditional contestant in the costume concourses of the city's elegant private clubs. birthplace of samba, the place where Deixa Falar was founded, the first big samba club, Estácio de Sá was established in 1955, bearing the red and white colors of its celebrated predecessor. Its name until last year was Unidos de São Carlos, referring to a hillside in the region where most of its 2,000 members come from. During a meeting held last year, the club members decided to change their club's name in an attempt to bring back the old but lost magic. Estácio de Sá has never won a championship, and during those years bounced back and forth between the top and second level groups. Its theme, Nostalgia for Carnivals of Old, written by Silvio Cunha, features a grouping composed of dozens of soccer players, including several of Brazil's top stars. The authors of its samba, Dominguinhos do Estácio, Darcy Nascimento, and Jangada, are well-known sambaists ever since the times of the Deixa Falar Club. São João de Meriti, a city neighboring Rio, comes the Unidos da Ponte Samba Club, founded in 1952, and which, for the second time, is parading with the top group, this time with the theme Offerings, created by Mario Barcelos, showing the typical foods with which one should cultivate the gods of the Afro-Brazilian religion Candomblé. Mazinho and Ambrosio wrote the samba, and the big feature of Unidos da Ponte is a grouping of 12 women wearing traditional Bahian costumes representing the sorceresses sung about in the theme. When he escaped to Brazil, running away from Napoleon's troops, one of the first steps taken by King Dom João VI was to open up Brazilian ports to friendly nations. Carnival designer Fernando Pinto started off from this event to outline in samba a possible history of smuggling in our country, from the chinaware and tapestries imported by our predecessors up until the recent fever for electronic novelties via the free trade zone of Manaus in the Amazon jungle. Mama, I Want Manaus is the theme for Mocidade Independente in this year's parade. Founded in 1952 by a soccer team which was accustomed to get together after games to sing in samba, Mocidade Independente features the colors green and white. They were champions only one time in 1979. Their main personage and honorary president, Pastor de Andrade, lawyer and businessman, is also connected to soccer. The club's 3,000 participants sang a samba by Edson Show and Romildo, led on the samba parade runway by a singer who created his own style for leading parades, Haroldo Melodia. Marlene Paiva and Carlos Valente come dressed in the featured costumes brought to you by Mocidade Independente.
sambista é o artista e o nosso tom é o diretor de harmonia. Os espalhões são embalados. Por quê? Pelo pessoal
Based upon the Greek myth Orpheus, the film Black Orpheus, whose memorable soundtrack was created by Tom Jobim and Vinicius de Moraes, featured the song A Felicidade, Happiness.
Que são cortinas e são bandeiras, razões pra vida. Tão real da quarta-feira, por isso que eu canto.
From two verses of A Felicidade came forth the theme that the Unidos de Vila Isabel Club showed in their presentation this year at the Samba Parade Grounds. Pra tudo se acabar na quarta-feira, for everything to end on Wednesday.
Trabalho o ano inteiro, ei, mutirão, são escultores, são pintores, bordadeiras, são carpinteiros, viraceiros, costureiros, figurinista, desenhista e artesão, gente empenhada em construir a ilusão, e tem sonhos, e que tem sonhos, como a velha Bahia.
Founded in 1946, Unidos de Vila Isabel has never been champion, although they're considered one of the strongest big samba clubs of Rio de Janeiro. The author of their samba, Martinho da Vila, is one of the country's best-liked composers, and his LPs also sell well abroad. This is the 7th time that a samba by Martinho da Vila is sung on the runway by the 3,000 members of the club.
Sonho de reis, de virado, de jardineira, pra tudo se acabar na quarta-feira. Vem de junto, e aí? Vem de junto, e lá?
Two women, Licia Lacerda and Rosa Magalhães, created the theme, Hello, Mother, with which the Imperatriz Leopoldinense Samba Club came on to the parade runway this year. Based upon an imaginary telephone call from a son to his mother explaining why he can't send her the money he promised, the theme, in fact, tries to subtly explain the nation's own crisis itself. According to the samba by Velha, Guga, Tuninho, and Alvinho, Hello, Mother, I can't go on like this, to lunch on mush made of sand and dining on soup made of wind. The green, white, and gold colors of Imperatriz Leopoldinense garb the 2,200 sambists, featuring standard bearer Vilma Nascimento, carrying the club's flag for the first time, and Beto Costureiro. Founded in 1959 in the Carioca neighborhood of Ramos, the Imperatriz Leopoldinense was championed only one time in 1979, tied with several other clubs. The situation of Beija-Flor from Milópolis is similar to that of the Unidos da Ponte from São João de Meriti. Founded in 1948 in a city neighboring Rio, the club, ever since it rose to the top group, became the inspiration of the luxurious and sophisticated model which today also marks the parades by its fellow clubs. Its more than 4,000 participants almost always wear the parade's most expensive costumes, backed up by tasteful floats made also of expensive materials. During the past 8 years, the Beija-Flor Samba Club was champion 4 times, and in 1984, the lowest price for one of its costumes was not less than 3 minimum monthly salaries, or around $150. The cost for costuming the featured figures in several cases came to 100 minimum monthly salaries, or that is, around $5,000.
Fizeram pulsar com alegria o coração de uma criança nação, mas não.
Also led and fed from the well springs of the outlawed numbers game empire, the Beija-Flor Samba Club features the colors blue and white. This year, their carnival stage director, Joãozinho 30, obtained the theme from a verse of the Brazilian national anthem, gigante berço esplêndido, a giant in a splendid cradle, explaining that Brazil needed to be discovered every day by Brazilians themselves, in that they don't know its enormous potential. Elcio PV is Beija-Flor's award-winning master of samba ceremonies, and in addition, the club features former Miss Brazil, Marta Rocha, model Luisa Brunet, and the Black Cinderella, Pinar.
Era o berço do gigante, esbanjando esplendor. Índios, selvas, milhas, e os negros com a força e magia. Beleza, beleza! Fizeram pulsar com alegria o coração de uma criança nação. Mas não, mas na ânsia de crescer, no berço fértil se afastou. Mato velho! O seu olhar marejou o sofrer em lágrimas que servem de lição. E o gigante é o nosso povo, reconstruindo um Brasil novo, de indivíduo organizando mutirões. E tem fuzuê, alegrando o patropi. No samba lelê, vamos cantar isso. E tem fuzuê, alegrando o patropi. No samba lelê, vamos cantar e sorrir. Navegando, navegando. Umas índias se sonhando com riqueza. Beleza, beleza! Caravelas portuguesas, os deuses, outros caminhos destinados. Ecoou, terra vista, um grito emocionante. Era o berço do gigante, esbanjando esplendor. Índios, selvas, mitos e os negros com a força e magia. Beleza, beleza! Fizeram pulsar com alegria o coração de uma criança nação. Mas não, mas na ânsia de crescer, no berço fértil se afastou. O seu olhar marejou o sofrer em lágrimas que servem de lições. E o gigante é o nosso povo, reconstruindo um Brasil novo, de indivíduo organizando mutirões. E tem fuzuê, alegrando o patropi. No samba lelê, vamos cantar isso. E tem fuzuê, alegrando o patropi. No samba lelê, vamos cantar e sorrir. Navegando, navegando, umas ilhas e sonhando com riqueza. Caravelas portuguesas, os deuses, outros caminhos destinados. E aí? Ecoou, terra vista, um grito emocionante. Era o berço do gigante, esbanjando esplendor. Índios, selvas, e os negros com a força e magia fizeram pulsar com alegria o coração de uma criança nação. Mas não, mas na ânsia de crescer, no berço fértil se afastou.
O seu olhar marejou um sofrer em lágrimas que servem de lição. E o gigante é o nosso povo, reconstruindo o Brasil novo, cheio de vida organizado, mutirões. E tem fuzuê, alegrando o patropi. No samba, vamos cantar. E tem fuzuê, alegrando o patropi. No samba, vamos cantar e sorrir. Navegando, navegando. Umas índias se sonhando com riqueza. Caravelas portuguesas, os deuses, outros caminhos destinaram. Ecoou, terra vista, um grito emocionante. Era o verso do gigante, esbanjando esplendor. Índios, selvas, mitos e os negros com a força e magia fizeram pulsar com alegria o coração de uma criança-nação.
Author of hundreds of songs recorded more than 2,000 times, the composer João de Barro has the credit for such international hits as Carinhoso and Copacabana, in addition to innumerable carnival marches which were, as a matter of fact, sung by Carmen Miranda in movies produced in the United States. Life and Works of João de Barro was the theme chosen by Rio's most traditional samba club to bring to a close this year's parade. Yes, we've got Braguinha. Estação Primeira de Mangueira Samba Club, founded in 1928 and 11 times champion, has kept faithful to the same principles which guided its founders. It comes on strong with a heavy beat that no one can match, and by the changes it goes through during its parade down the runway when it enters with its green and rose colors. Club of such famous sambistas as Cartola, Nelson Cavaquinho, whose works are widely acclaimed, the Mangueira Samba Club has been the source of inspiration for Brazilian composers of various epochs who dedicated their sambas and their glory. In this carnival, names such as Dona Numa, Chamelone, Master of Samba Ceremonies Delegado, and Zika, the widow of the late Cartola, repeat a ritual of nearly half a century to once again defend their green and pink colors, accompanied by the very inspirer of their theme, João de Barro. As the sun rises on Tuesday, the last day of Carnival, over 4,000 participants of Mangueira come together with the same refrain. It's in the shimmy, shimmy. I want to see it shake. It's in the shimmy and shaking that Mangueira parades by.
Thank you.